many can relate. You hit your 40s and then suddenly your body, it starts to change. But you eat no more, maybe you even less than what you did in your 20s, but that number on the scale certainly continues to rise.
Yeah, many assume it's due to a decline in metabolism, but a large study from 2021 actually found that's a myth. So what is going on with our bodies?
Well, registered dietitian Rachel Iverson is with us here this morning to help us to understand this little conundrum that so many of us face. So thank you for joining us, Rachel.
Yeah, good morning.
Bright and early here. So if it's not a slowing metabolism that is the case here, why can't we seem to eat the same when we're 40 as we did when we were 20?
Well, human metabolism, it's related to a lot of different things. And so whatever I say here, it needs to be individualized for the person. So this is going to be very general. But a lot of times as we're aging, it's very dependent on genetics. What we can do to kind of combat that is keep our activity level up. I don't know about you, but for me, it's kind of harder to stay just as active as I was when I was younger, because you kind of pile on those responsibilities. So more activity, a lot of research shows at least an hour a day, and then consistent protein intake. You're always in a state of anabolism or catabolism, and what that means is your body's always using your calories and your protein to either build up tissue and build structure. Protein really isn't used for energy, so it's all structural components of the cell and of the muscle fibers, etc. Or you're kind of in this catabolism saving phase where you're not so sure, and it really depends on what your intake looks like and how it's spread throughout the day. So that overnight fast where we're sleeping, we're generally kind of switch into that saving phase. And then when our body knows there's nutrients coming in and it knows there's protein to work with and to build things, that's when we start to build muscle.
Well, studies show between the age of 30 and 40, adults lose 3 to 8% muscle mass, and less muscle mass means more fat. So is it possible to preserve muscle as we age, Rachel?
Yes, absolutely. You need to bump up the activity level. You need to focus on strength training. Getting a gym buddy is a great thing to do, but then also, consistent protein intake. So really focusing on getting enough protein for your body. One way you can do that is starting with kind of 1 gram per pound of body weight is one way some people think about it. That could be a little bit high for most people. I generally, and this is a little bit more math, recommend at least 1 gram per kilogram. So that's about half your weight in pounds per gram. But most adults, at minimum need around 75, if not a little bit more than that a day. So you really have to spread that out.
It's a lot of protein when you're really tracking it. I've tried before, and it's tough to get it all in. But with that being said, I mean, that's male or female, and then does it matter what time of day you take that protein in?
So I actually worked on research in college about protein intake timing. And Dr. Statzy with NDSU is really an expert on this. But when we look at people who have a third of their protein in the morning, afternoon, evening time period, they're really able to maintain their muscle mass and the quality of their muscle tissue as they age, meaning less intramuscular fat and higher quality protein fibers. So if you can really get some protein in the morning, that's something you want to focus on. So whether it's high protein pancakes, if you're not really a breakfast person, or you kind of feel icky when you eat in the morning, I highly recommend just starting with a glass of juice to get the hunger cues started, and then eating an hour or two later. But making sure you get at least 25, if not 30 grams of protein. Your eggs are going to have around 7 grams, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter is around 7 grams. I really like this Fairlife milk. It's got 13 grams per cup, so it's a little bit higher. I make a high protein coffee with it pretty much every day because, again, I am busy and don't always like to do things right away. One of these little shakes is about 30 grams. So
people use those shakes sometimes to put in their coffee too. And
I've seen that.
Those protein shakes as a creamer.
Yeah, they can be good. I haven't really done much of that, but I'd be interested.
Yeah, I've done it myself. So very good. Great information. Thank you very much, Rachel. And